All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be taking another look at the Pixel 6a. Now, the discussion today about the Pixel 6a bars is pretty simple. The Pixel 7 is almost amongst us, and we still have this great device right here. Now, this device is a device that has some bigger brothers coming out, and then its cousins or siblings are already out, the 6 and the 6 Pro. The 6 and the 6 Pro are on sale as well, meaning at a discounted price. The 6 Pro, you can get it for $650 and $599 in certain places like Google Fi. So I'm impressed with what Google is doing with their lineup now. However, this device is one of the more impressive devices because it comes in at such a low price. Now, at the beginning of this device's launch, I've had this for just over 30 days, I believe, right now. And so I wanted to follow up again and just discuss it with you. So, because there's people out there that are still contemplating whether or not they should get this device. And I think it's going to be a very simple choice once people see the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. Now, this device launched at $449, and that's the current price. However, when Google first brought this device out, they brought it out and then all of a sudden, boom, they had these fantastic trade-ins. I mean, trade-ins that will make you say, whoa, I'm definitely buying this, even if I really don't need it. Meaning, you can trade in your 3A or 4A and just flat out get $300 and a free set of Pixel Bud A's. Now, that was the kicker. You got the new device, their latest device, with their latest chip in a smaller package, with their new design, with one of their latest headphones or earbuds for $150 plus tax. That was one of the best deals on the internet, and I think people who had the opportunity to get it, they are happy with their purchase. Not just because of the price, because that was just a gimme. Google was saying, here's a freebie. Let me toss you this and give you this easy touchdown. Make sure you hurry up and jump on it because we're not going to run it that long. And so that's what they did. And I believe that next week, after having that fantastic launch, they took away those high prices for those high trade-in values and went back down to what they thought the phones were originally worth. And then a little bit later, about 2 weeks in, they did it again. So I posted a video on that about 2 weeks ago from the recording of this video, letting you guys know you need to hurry up and get on it because you won't get the buzz this time, but you will get the phone for $150. Price doesn't always dictate whether something is good or bad. But sometimes people get those misconstrued and then they start to compare devices and they start to say, oh, this is horrible for the price, this, and this. And I get why people do that. And then, you start to give your own version of what you think the device should cost. And I totally understand that. I do it too. However, devices like this, when you have the 6 Pro and the 6 coming in at just a little bit higher, it starts to question whether or not you should get this device, their more affordable new device. And I say it just depends on the person. The reason this device is such a great device is because it's compact. It's the smallest, one of the smaller versions of their new lineup. It's the smallest of the new lineup and new design based on what Google is offering right now. And I think that's important. You guys should always take note of that. When companies bring out something, I always tell people, and I've been saying it since day one, since I've had my channel, companies will always give you an out. You don't have to buy the latest and most powerful device that they have that costs the most. You always get an out, and I think that's important. So this device went on sale about a week or two afterwards as well. It's currently on sale right now. Search around. You can get it for $100 off, $150 off. If you didn't get those trade-in deals, you can still get this device. Now, reasons to purchase this device, because some people, there's always a person who might decide they want this device and a person who might decide they might not want this device for whatever reason that they feel like they just don't want it. The number one reason to get this device, I would say, is probably going to be the cameras. Now, the cameras take some of the best photos ever. I mean, if you're looking for high quality, you can see here in the viewfinder, and you can see the device sitting right there. It's still coming across clear in the viewfinder. I mean, I think that's important to note. You got a nice wide angle lens. You got a standard lens. Just take a look at that. Now let's bring in something with some color. Actually here's some microphones that I have. I'll be bringing out video on these for you soon. You see how it's already kind of giving you a little bit of bokeh effect and it's telling you move back a little bit to get in focus. This device does really good with portrait style video or portrait style photos. If you look at just something like this, you can see on camera it might look a certain way, but if you look in the, like this band looks darker probably sitting on the table. That's the lighting, the way it's reflecting at that angle. When we look through the phone, you know, you see a different color, but when you take that photo, it's gonna match. This has gotta be some of the most accurate cameras I've ever dealt with. Beautiful, beautiful versions of cameras, and they do good with things that are bright in color too as well. So I set this phone holder I got right here. You can see, check out how it looks through the viewfinder. It's gonna be a really good photo. And when you tap and get that zoom in, yeah, it's gonna be nice. So it doesn't have a telephoto lens, but it does have a wide angle lens. And I think that's important to note to a lot of people. You should take note of that, that this device is offering a lot for what you're getting. So when you go down to video here, you can see I keep it set at 4K 60. That's just where I like to record it. A lot of times though, I'll put it on 4K 30 sometimes, but 4K 60 is where I like to have it. But if you're just doing 4K or 1080p, you can go auto frames per second, and that'll give you a really nice version of your video. It'll help you determine, it'll do it for you if you need those frame rates or not. But unfortunately, when you go to 4K, there's no auto frame rate. You have to choose 40 or 30. But it gives you those higher options right there. And this is a reason, one of the main reasons I think a person should look at this device is the cameras. You've got a super steady mode right here. Like here's the modes right here. So you've got standard, and you can lock the for far away or still shots at a 2x zoom. Active, which is heavy movement, and then you've got your cinematic pan. If you want to get some really smooth B-roll or just something that's going to be really smooth, you can use this device. Like if you're shooting, and this is from a content creator standpoint, this device can be used for content creation. If you can't create if you're a creator and you can't create what was ever thrown at you, you should always be able to make something good out of something that's thrown at you, because most of the devices we get now, they aren't very good in every area, but we still pick apart that device and pull everything sweet out of it that we possibly can and make it our own. And this device is no exception. This is a phenomenal device on cameras, and just video and cameras and all the different. Here's some more modes I want to show you. You've got the lens. You can obviously know what lens is, and you got photosphere. And I'll be honest here, photosphere is the most least used one of all of these. These three right here, I don't really use them at all. And maybe I should kick in more and start using them more. But one thing I do like is night sight. So you can take some really nice photos when it's not so well lit. And then portrait photos at night are very good too. But just overall, this camera is one of the best cameras that a person could possibly want to use in their catalog. So that's got to be one of the top reasons that you would get this device, in my opinion. I think most people would probably be excited to have this device for the camera footage and the camera photos and everything. It's just so beautiful. Now, a reason a person might disagree with that is because of some limitations with the camera. Like, again, it doesn't have a telephoto lens. The 4K, some people are having troubles with it not recording very long. I recorded about 30 minutes maybe or so, and I didn't have any heating issues or anything like that. Wherever you are, like if you're outside, like where I live at, it's a very, very high, it's always over 100. So recording outside with most of the devices I have, they'll make it. And I took this outside and recorded with it, and I didn't have any problems with it. But I eventually came in because it's so hot. But some people are just saying they're having heating issues, period. So the camera might restart on them or shut down and say we have to cool off. That is a possibility. Another reason I think a person should probably consider this device is going to be the software. Now, Google has done phenomenal when it comes to software. Their software, obviously being stock Android, is going to be something that you should technically get the best Android experience. Technically, you should get the best Android experience with this device. Now, I'm not saying that you won't. I'm just saying that for me, it is a great experience. However, you have phones out there that are skinned or themed, And they offer, and pretty much it's going to be like your Samsungs, your LGs, phones that offer some Huawei, phones that offer some kind of desktop mode, just just anything. Phones that offer more little hidden quirks and features that might come in handy. Some people might be into that, and they might want a little bit more. So with that being said, this is a great performer, but the downside of that is some people might want to have a pen input or something like that. Everybody has a request. Everybody has their own version of why they want to use a device and what makes them tick and what makes them happy. And sometimes basic just isn't enough for them, or just not basic, but the standard, the gold standard to me is stock Android for Android. If you want to experience Android, go to this version of Android first and then venture out. Some people might not like that, and they might just want, hey, I want this. I want all these quirks, and even if I'm not going to use them, I don't want to pay the price for that and not have them. You know what I mean? So it's up to you to determine what your like is. But software is another reason why I think this should be high on your list. Now, I did talk about price, but price, at the beginning, but price is a factor for a lot of people. So people who don't want to spend a lot of money, they're going to start looking at phones that just don't cost a lot. They're not going to start with features first. So this should be in those people's catalog, or at least it should be on their radar. It should be on the radar because it already is, to me, a flagship device at a lower price. But for some people, they see it as a mid-range. To me, it really doesn't matter at this point what a person is calling it. The fact is, the internals on this are the same as Google's high-end devices. So what do you call it? So that's another reason why I think some people might possibly be interested in this, is because the price is so good. Now, another reason why a person could possibly really, put this on the list of, hey, I might want to get that, is the battery. Now, I recently did a battery test on here about a little over a week ago. I didn't test it like the special test. I just started monitoring my usage. And, easily this is a good phone on battery. Most people will be able to pull down 5 to 7 hours of screen on time, depending on what your usage is and depending on what apps you have on your phone. So I want to say this about battery. If you're using Facebook, if you're using TikTok, and Instagram isn't so bad, Twitter isn't so bad, but if you're using Facebook, for sure, I don't use TikTok. I have one, but I'm not very active on it, but Facebook is one of the main resource hogs on your device. That is why I tell people, hey, if you're going to use Facebook, try to use the light version or just use the web app and put it on your home screen as a shortcut. You really can't tell. You can do everything the same. I don't use Facebook anymore, but I know plenty of people have switched to the light version. They reported phenomenal battery on whatever device they're using. So, battery life is definitely approved, especially for the price. Again, we start to take away points on that price scale when we start to see things that are not so great. But for me, the battery life is kind of a no-brainer. It's great battery on here, but also, like I said, it always depends on the user. So if you're a person who has all those things and you feel like you have to have those things on your device and you don't want to take them off, then the downside of that is that you're going to have to deal with, somewhat not so great battery if those things are hogging up all your battery. That's the flip side of that. So you've got a few reasons for me why I think this should be on your radar. One of the last reasons is pretty simple. Now, I say it's simple, but some of you guys might say, oh, Jay, I don't know. But to me, this is great looking hardware. I like the matte sides on here. I love the matte sides. I think all phones should have matte sides because it's just so much better than the glossy sides. I think it's really nice. This hardware is beautiful. It's obviously the same look as the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro, but it's also smaller in size and it has a smaller display. So this is something that I think is, to me, a good reason why a person might want to pick this up over some other Android devices. It has a nice compact size. It's low in price. It has great battery life. The display is actually pretty beautiful too. It's a good display. Some people feel some type of way about it because it's not 90 hertz. And after having it for a little while, I can see why a person might feel like Google should have done at least 90 hertz on here because I've got the OnePlus devices that have 90 hertz and they cost about $100 to $200 less. You know what I mean? So I get it. I understand, folks. But for me, it's not a necessity to have 90 hertz on a display. I don't really care. It drains the battery just a little bit more, but it does make things feel great. Now, when I do have a device with these types of specs, 90, 120, I crank it up to that. My S22 Ultra, which I'm recording with right now, tell me how it's doing. When I use the S22 Ultra, just any device that has a high refresh rate, I'm cranking it up. I'm not putting it, and I'm putting the displays at the highest resolution, like Quad HD, 120 hertz. I'm going to keep it up to the highest one because that's why I bought it. I'm buying, that's something that I have the ability to use, and I don't want to turn those things down just because, I don't want to get the best battery life or I don't want to mess things up. Now, I keep all things syncing. I keep everything fired up. I keep everything going. So, that's just me. But if this device did have 90 hertz, I would have it cranked up to 90 hertz. It's just that simple. But they don't have it on here. So, but anyway, that's a conversation that I've had before, and some people feel some type of way about it. I personally don't. But yeah, price is great, battery is great, screen is great, software is great, hardware is great. There's a lot about this device for reasons that you should probably consider it if you're in the market for a new Android device. Now, I will say this, if you have anything like the Pixel 5a or 4a 5G, the 4a 5G and the Pixel 5a 5G, I would sit this one out probably because you're going to get the same type of performance. I have the devices, so you're going to get the same type of performance. You just don't get the newer hardware or internals, but the processor inside of those devices handles its business. So, it's just a no-brainer to stay with those if you just really don't need an upgrade. I wouldn't trade those in to get this one at this point. But I would trade in the 4A and 3A and all those 3X, 3XLs and all those. I'd trade those in for this because I get the new Tensor chip with the new hardware at a new price, a great price. So, but again, 5A 5G, 4A 5G, not so much. I'd hold on and just wait and hold on to your device. And if those devices break, then go ahead and go up to this one if you want to, or just get the same replacement if you can find it. But the one thing I like about those devices, let me bring one of them in here. The one thing I like about this device right here is that it has a nice, beautiful color to it, and it also has a fingerprint reader on the back, and that the entire device is a matte, frosted feel to it, and it's got a headphone jack. So this is why I say, if you have, this device right here, I don't suggest that you just hurry up and run out and buy another one or just upgrade to this one. But if you have the 4A, which is another version of a device that Google has at a great price from this old lineup right here, I suggest that, if this isn't broken, folks, don't get it just because. If you don't have the money to get it, don't get it because you can trade up to this one for $150. But if your device is working and you like the even smaller size, stay with it, man. I mean, even though this is a great deal to trade in, and get this one for $150 if you can still. If you were able to at the time, then that was a win, if you wanted to move up. I don't want to sound like I was really aggressive in saying you had to get it, but it was a super win for tech fans. Consumers, you didn't really have to do it if you didn't want to. But, I don't recommend you move from this 5A, 5G to this device right here, because this is still a phenomenal device, and it's fantastic. I like that it has a headphone jack. I think it's more than enough device for most people. I love the look of this. I love this style. Like this version that they brought out right here. I like this, man. Some people feel some type of way about it, but I like it. I think it's great. So yeah, man, if you have the Pixel 6a, tell me about those things that I pointed out, man. I mean, is it good? Do you think you did the right shoot? If you did move up from the 4A, is there anybody that moves from the 5A 5G or the 4A 5G to the Pixel 6a? Did you do that? I mean, because I would recommend that you stay here, but you do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's on you. So this is a phenomenal device. It feels really good in the hand because of all the rounded corners and everything like that. This is a square round, and this is just flat out round. Very nice. Just beautiful. Google has made a beautiful device right here, and I really like the Pixel 4a 5G as well. The Pixel 6 is another one that's, or not the Pixel, I mean the Pixel 5 is another one. If you have the Pixel 5, I don't suggest you move to this either. You know, I just stay in that lineup if your phones are working great and, you know what I'm saying, they're all good. But the Pixel 6a is a device that I just can recommend at this point for those few things I pointed out in this video. Some of you guys will have some other reasons why you think people should purchase this. So post those down below. And then tell me how your battery life is. Tell me if you moved from the 5A 5G or the 4A 5G or the 4A or the 3A. What do you think about the Pixel 6a if you have it now? So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoy an extended look at the Pixel 6a after a little over 30 days. It's rolling right along and I like it a lot. So leave a comment down below and let's discuss. Take care.